What's the matter, Kakarot?
Welcome to another morning, Sunday morning with the Blerd Church of Anime. I am your preacher, your teacher, your cult leader, your messenger, whatever you want to call me. I am Black Star, here to kick you with hopefully another inspirational message based off of anime, manga, and all the things of the like that us lovely blurs love to use. Boy, has it been a week. It has been a month. I'm telling you, February is moving so fast. I've been so busy. I think I've been a little stressed out, as evidence as from the message from last week. And it's not slowing down, y'all. It's not slowing down, y'all. It's just not slowing down. That's how I feel about my last week. It was so many things I had to punch, so many things I had to do. I dropped some balls. I know I did. And I'm just trying to gear up for next week, thinking it'll be maybe a little less crazy. Maybe. I don't know because I have this propensity to keep saying yes and doing more and more things. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, fun times. Um, I hope your week wasn't as crazy as mine, unless you get in that money in the hustle culture right now. And if you are hustling really hard, I hope that you are taking the needed time to rest, relax, rehydrate. Are y'all drinking water? I am trying. Doing all the things so that way you have, you don't wreck your body. I kind of been watching Isekai Office Worker, and it's reminding me to not work myself to death on top of other things. And yeah, if you are thinking about getting into Isekai um, Office Worker, you need to be 18 plus. Let me just put that out there. That it's not a show for you to show your kids. I'm just saying. It's not bad. It's just, yeah, it's not. The first episode, don't get what you think the rest of the show gonna be. Just saying. Anyways, if you didn't have a good week last week, maybe you did get overcome by all the things you had to do. Maybe you were trying to get some stuff together and it fell through. Well, you know what we say about that? F last week, this week will be better. We are always planning for things to get better for us because that's the way we roll. Yeah. So you might notice my attire. After the Big Bonito Bowl of last week, um, I'm feeling very like sportsy. Also, the Olympics are going on, so sports has been on my mind. So I felt like maybe I should talk about some sports anime this week. How do y'all feel about that? Sports anime? Maybe? Any fans? I personally think sports anime is an offshoot of shonen, although sports anime can be in a variety of things. There's a lot more female focused sports anime now, but they kind of deal stuff with like cheerleading, which is not bad. Although there was a male cheerleader one that I loved. I love anything like dance. There's been like some track, some derby ones where the girls turn into horses. Sports anime can get really crazy. I'm not getting into that, might be a later message. We're going to talk about some of your more typical sports anime, and particularly one that is one of my favorite that helped me realize that like I actually really do like sports anime, and especially when they do a good job of describing the game. And no, it's not basketball. No, it's not soccer, but it is actually football. Not that football, but like American football, especially because the Bonito Bowl just happened. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about sports anime in general, and particularly Eyeshield 21, which is one of my favorite shonen sports anime, just anime manga in general. I love Eyeshield 21. So, in case you're new to sports anime, typically sports anime takes a sport, they kind of give you a little bit of background about it, they show you some main characters, they make it seem super like highly in depth, they can give you some information. That's a good sports anime. They get you really invested in the games and the going ons of it. Um, I tend to think that Hikaru no Go, which is about Go, the kind of like chess game, is considered sports anime, and people fuss at me about that. But listen, the amount of death and emotions I had over these Go tournaments and like what Hikaru was doing, you could listen. It is what it is. Uh, but outside of that, I do sit some typical basketball, baseball, soccer, and one of the very few football ones, I show 21. Eyeshield 21 tells the story of a high school football team. They are the underdogs and they are trying to make it all the way to the high school football national championships in Japan. It is a wild ride. The main character is this little kid coming in 10th grade, Senna. Senna is known for being bullied. He's the bully's little flacky lackey. He runs around, gets them stuff because apparently he has golden legs. This boy can run. And so the Damon's High quarterback, my favorite character, Haruma, who's always trying to get more players for the football team because the football team only has two regular players. Yeah, they're starting from below. It's a typical, building up story. He sees Senna one day running from some bullies, and he's like, that guy's got it on the team, and he's going to be our running back. And we're going to make sure no one knows his identity, so we're going to call him the unknown Eyeshield 21, this Japanese high school football, like, legend. And thus, hilarity ensues. What I really like about Eyeshield 21 is that it does a really good job of describing football as a game, especially for people who are not used to it. Because it was set in Japan. Along with a lot of people follow American football in Japan, and so you got to like build the audience to be like, this is how the game actually works. These are the positions. And then I love an underdog story. It doesn't matter if it's an anime, manga, or just regular American movie, Hollywoods. I love a sports underdog, and I tend to like the football movies. Like Remember the Titans was one of my favorite movies for a very long time. I love teams coming together. I love teamwork, which is why I tend to do a lot more team sports rather than the Princeton tennis, which the Princeton tennis was cool. I really enjoyed it. But I like to tend to like, the Kiriko basketballs, the Ahorinosaurus. Like that is an amazing basketball. I might do a message on that as well. I've been planning on it. I like the stories about the teams and getting to know people coming together to build it. Those are like my favorite parts of a sports anime. And then, finding your rival, blah, blah, blah. Um, Although one of my other favorite sports anime right now, which I think everybody kind of loves, is the soccer anime that is not about friendship and it's not about building teams. It's about you got to be number one. And if you know, you know. Yeah, I'm not about to shout them out right now. We'll talk about them later. I have a whole sermon plan for them. But anyway, Eyeshield 21 is really about a team trying to build up, and they have some really great emotional moments. So I want to talk about one particular moment in this series because I think I'm going to give some other messages. There's just so many great messages out of Eyeshield 21 and some of the drama they go through as a football team, as teens who are growing and learning and building with the team. So as I mentioned, the football team gets three members once they get Senna to join up. Four technically, because then they get like a female manager to help Haruma in all his duties, because he's pretty much running the whole thing. But now they have a quarterback, they have a linebacker, and they have Senna, the running back. That is not enough to win games. And they have all these helpers that Haruma kind of blackmails to be in games with them, so they have their 11 players. What they really need is a receiver. They need somebody who can catch the ball and possibly run it in. And so that brings in a character named or nicknamed Monta. Monta is not one of my favorite characters, but I love his story. I just like Monta as general. Like again, Haruma's my favorite. I love Senna too, but Monta's up there in the top five of great players on the team. And Monta has a really cool story. Monta was watching baseball and saw a player, Hanjo, who is a baseball player, and became like just enamored. He's like, oh my gosh, he's the greatest. Hanjo is the greatest in catching. He's this great outfielder. Da, da. And so Monta decided to dedicate his life to baseball. He is going to be a baseball player like Hanjo, catch everything. And he works at it, he works at it, he works at it, and he's actually really freaking good at catching. He is phenomenal. This kid will run all over the baseball diamond field to get a ball, and he does. He does really super well. He's like, I am a shoo-in for the baseball team. I am the new Hanjo. I'm going to make my legend proud. I catch everything. Kind of like Pokemon. But there's a problem with him being a catching expert. His other skills aren't quite on level. Meaning, Monta can catch a ball no matter where it's going. He can't throw a ball. And especially if you're working in outfield, or for you all who are into the sports ball, baseball, you catch the ball on the outside, you still got to throw it in, even if they like to catch the other people running in the bases. He can't be a baseman if he can't throw the ball to the other baseman and throw it back to the pitcher. his throws go wildly inaccurate. And then there's also this other thing where all the players have to bat at some point in the game. Like I know that happens. I don't know all the rules around batting, but like everybody, even if you're not like a major slugger, have to bat at some point. Yeah, he's not good at batting either. So he is one out of three probably essential things you need to be in a baseball team, and he doesn't make the team. He just doesn't because he doesn't have the skills and his dreams are crushed. Crushed. What does it mean to be the best? And you can't even get on your like high school baseball team. Like how are you gonna like show your hero that you're following the steps? How you can become a legend like Hanjo and you can't even get on the baseball team? It just so happens while we're going through his whole baseball team, I'm like, auditioning, trying out for ARC. He meets Senna, and Senna's like, you could be a really good receiver. Have you thought about football? And Monta's like, nah, I ain't never thought about football. I ain't gonna do it. Nah, I'm a baseball person. And so Senna's like, cool, we'll support you in baseball. But just in case, because Senna's really nice. He's not gonna like really push somebody. He's not a Haruma. But there's this moment in both the anime and the manga where Monta is seriously having a crisis because he wants to be good at this particular sport and he is practicing. He has put his time, he has put his energy into being good at a particular thing in this sport and following the footsteps of someone he really admired. And he's placed with this wall that says, yes, you're good at this one thing, but it's not enough to be on the team. You need to be more well-rounded. And it feels like a major step back for him because he's like, but I did it. I can catch. And like, yeah, but you can't throw. He's like, but Hanjo catches, but then Hanjo also throws. It is what it is. Um, and then he has his other offer to go into football. That's Senna offered him. It's like, yeah, like we're very specialized. You don't have to be able to do everything. We just need you to catch the ball and run it. Like that's it. Like you can run because clearly you can catch balls over everywhere, but we just need you to catch the ball. So he has this path before him, was the path that he was desperately trying to get to. And then he has this other path that is new. And he's hesitating on taking this other path because it feels like giving up. It feels like he is then saying, all the time and the years I spend in these dreams, all this, like he's worn out his glove practicing catching to be on this baseball field and to trade it in for football and to be on the football field feels like giving up. It feels like you've betrayed the hero who doesn't know you, by the way. He's just like, this is all in teenagers' mind. We all do this to say like, okay, my skills can't be used here, but I want it to be used, so I need to go somewhere else. And that is the art, I think, of pivoting that some of us never quite do because we get so focused on what was the original intent. Like Monta's moment and like the shedding of tears, not just being able just because he couldn't get on the team, just because he felt it's something he really cared about, but also this idea that he might give it up to pursue something different where his skills could be better used is an actual watershed moment because I think a lot of us struggle with pivoting when we've been so focused on one thing in particular. Now that is a bad thing because I think that being focused and wanting to do something and wanting to do something well and like the time and the effort you put into it and also seeing that you're doing the thing well. Sometimes we get so laser focused and so have blinders on around like if I could do this, if I could just sing really, 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 really super well, then I'll make it on the Broadway. Or maybe if I just got really, really good at math, I'll be the engineer I needed. Or maybe if I just really work at this, I will get this other thing I really care for. And then sometimes we don't see the other skills or the other things that are overlying. Like, okay, yeah, maybe you are super smart engineer, got the degree or whatever. Like you can't talk to people and it's like keeping you from being hired at the type of industries or the type of jobs you want because they have this component of where you have to be able to talk to people in a certain way. You're like, I don't have those skills, but I'm smart enough to do it. Maybe you're trying to get in college and you were like, my GPA, my test scores, everything is like up there, top notch. I put in all the work to be the best in my class, but then you don't have any extracurriculars. You don't have anything like the colleges think are interesting about you because you spent more time studying, going to test prep classes than you did trying to work or being involved or the volunteer work that you did was like every one day you didn't build relationships with people. maybe you're super relational and you've gotten so far in your life because you've been able to build relationships and have people move things for you. And now you're getting to a field where they want you to be more technical and you found yourself at a stopping point because you now have, they want these skills that you don't have and you will have to spend a significant amount of time building these skills. And it feels like a huge loss. Like you're not a bad person. You're not untalented at all. And you've been driving for this thing. And now someone's telling you, well, you forgot about this one little piece over here, these couple of pieces over here. You're not qualified for the thing you want to do. And that is heartbreaking. It feels like you wasted so much time and effort and you could be doing something else instead of us taking your skills and trying to pivot. Because even though the place that you're trying to get to, even though the role that you may have wanted, the people you want to be around, the college that you were trying to get into, maybe what you thought was a perfect fit for you isn't quite that. And you did enough to allow you to pivot to something that you didn't think was available before. And as someone who literally chased jobs around the country, I really thought like my degree or like my inclinations would lead me down one path and I really like pushed towards it. But I learned so many other skills in that path that allowed me to like pivot to so many different other things and getting to know myself. In the story of Eyeshield 21, when Manta finally decides to join the football team and become a catcher, you know, it still hurts because baseball was something he really cared about. Is that in Hanjo is still going to be a player that he's going to emulate. He doesn't know any football players. He's never watched the football game. But him taking those skills and saying, I'm going to be the best catcher in another way and being open to pivoting to a different thing does allow him to eventually realize part of his dream. So maybe it's not the dream of being the best catcher in baseball, but it becomes a dream of being the best catcher in football, which, spoiler alert, allows him to eventually meet his hero, you know? Because a catcher is a catcher is a catcher. If you bought the catching game, you care about whoever can get to the ball, right? At least in this universe. And something that what I'm really pushing us to think about is sometimes we just really need to pivot. Like your skills are still valuable. Your things that you did, the time you put into it, the blood, sweat, and tears you did to develop it is not wasted because the thing you thought you're going to use it for isn't available or says you need to do more or you need to have this other background or whatever. You can still find places to pivot that so you're able to be the best you or use the best parts of you, your best skills in another way. And I really want to challenge us here to like think about it when we're sit someplace and we feel like we are stuck. Someone has told us no on our dream. Is there a way we can still achieve our dream through a side channel? I know people say like when one door closes, another one opens, and that's quite literally what's happening in this scene in Eyeshield 21. But it's also, I think, realistic. Like sometimes a door closes, a window opens, a window closes, and then the garage opens. Like there's a lot of random things that happen in life that if we were just trying to like see the big picture and then maybe not dismiss people trying to tell us there's this other option there, we may get to it, you know? Because I think we're all talented. I think there is something we're all deeply fundamentally talented in, things that we care about, things that we have worked at, things, talents and skills that come to life in a lot of different ways. And as I've continued to get up in my big age, like I'm just finding there's more and more jobs, more and more opportunities where I'm like, I didn't even know this thing existed. And people are like, yeah, I do this kind of work. And I'm like, oh, could I do it with the skills that I have? And people are like, yeah. I don't think it's just about jobs, but I think it's in life. Finding a partner, maybe you've been trying really, really hard. Like you was like, if I look this way, if I get this type of body, if I have this type of money, if I have this type of skill, if I'm very funny, then the partnerships will come to me this way. And if you meet someone you think you'd be a good partner, like, well, I'm also looking for these things. You're like, I don't have that. And they're like, well, you're not the partner for me. Okay. But doesn't mean all the things you did, that work you did in putting into your appearance and your physical health or your money or your personality is going to go to waste. There is somebody out there that wants those from you. And I think you just gotta like, again, pivot. The art of the pivot, y'all. And half of anime and shonen anime is about the pivoting. You gotta do something slightly different to get to the thing you honestly, ultimately are gonna get to in your life. So yeah, I want to think about Manta. Think about what it means to go. And again, I think you still have that heartbreaking moment. You get that scene with him crying is so like wonderful because it's a genuine loss. He needs to feel the sorrow and the grief of losing one path, and not just losing it because he was told no, he couldn't get on the baseball team, but of him deciding to do something different. That is a big freaking deal. And I think I'm never going to down people for feeling a ways or emotional about that at all. So yeah, that's our message for this week. I'm trying to keep it light and short, keep this going as February is continues to hound me to do 15 million different things. I want to know from you, like, do you watch sports anime? What sports anime do you like? Again, Eyeshield 21 is one of my favorites. I reread the manga probably like once every year or every 2 years. I just like, let me go through all these chapters. Um, you can find the anime on Crunchyroll. I'm going to shout that out too. Um, and then I also got a shout out. Been doing it pretty much every session or every service this month. Catch us live at BlerdCon in Crystal City, Washington, D.C. We will be at BlerdCon March 6th through 8th. We have a session on March 8th. That Sunday morning, our morning service. I'm gonna put up on the screen so you can see where it be at. Come do our live testimony service, and those who can't be in DC, we're gonna try to stream that. So that will be your service on the second Sunday of March. So be ready, be prepared. It's about to get it on, and I'm excited to see all y'all who can come in person. Other than that, this is Black Star. I will catch you on the next time. Bye. The Blerd Church of Anime podcast is produced by Black Star, aka Lauren Tillman, written by Lauren Tillman, and hosted by Lauren Tillman. Music created by EL47.